Speaking of cussing, and I didn't think about this prior to, so I didn't look up the song, but I remember the first time I heard Linkin Park cuss. Like, Linkin Park was my favorite band when I was in high school. I saw their show twice. I've got all their albums. Got really sad when Chester committed suicide and we lost the band. But I remember, like, their first two albums, like, I could listen to those at home on full blast and no one could say anything. Like, I remember I picked up an Eminem album once, and that was a definite no. And I remember just playing it full blast. My mom walked in my bedroom, ripped the CD out of the CD player, drove down to the store, and was like, "Give me a refund." They're like, "Ma'am, it's open. We don't give refunds." And she went off and got a refund, and I lost that album.
Slim Shady was a little.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
He said some things. But
that first album was a little bit. Yeah.
I remember Linkin Park. Like, I could play their music anywhere. Yeah. And I remember I bought an album. It came out. I went home, put it in, played it full blast, listening to every song. And I remember it came through, and then he dropped an F-bomb, and I was like, "This is Linkin Park."
Right.
And the image changed from that moment on.
Yeah, it can have that effect on you. Yeah. I remember when Beyonce went from Destiny's Child to solo. That was different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was different. The transformation of her and the Jay-Z and that whole, like, that was different.
Yeah. So, and it can ruin an image.
Oh yeah.
Like, if you go too far in the other direction, like, it's over. And what's unfortunate is a lot of artists, they don't, like, their image represents something, whether it's a genre or a style or like a message, and then they flip it and they come out with something totally new, and that's not what you were into before,
right?
And it's gone.
Yep. It's like, I was thinking about, like, when you were talking about how a negative image can still be positive. And the one person that came to my mind was Roddy Piper.
Okay.
He was the man. I don't know how familiar you are with Roddy Piper.
Not at all.
Okay, so he was a wrestler in the back then, the WWF, which is now the WWE. And I think he retired out of the WWE, but he wore the kilt. He wore the kilt, and he was the ultimate bad guy. He was like Hulk Hogan's arch nemesis, the ultimate bad guy. He was the guy that people love to hate, but it made him a superstar.
Right.
At the same time. And I just remember how, like even when he died, you were sad. That, at least I was sad when I found out Roddy Piper died. But he was still the guy that you love to hate at the same time. And it made him very wealthy. But you didn't hate Roddy Piper. You didn't hate him. But you just very rarely rooted for him, especially when he fought Hulk Hogan.
Right.
But it didn't. It worked in his favor to be that guy.
Right.
The arch nemesis.
Right.
And I think in order to hate, you have to love first.
Sure. Yeah.
So
I never got into wrestling. My friends, when I was a kid, that's all my friends down the street watched.
Yeah.
And whenever I'd go over to their house, we had to do our own wrestling matches at somebody's house, tagging each other in and, like, fake elbow dropping. And, I'm sleeping with your wife. And we're like 12. I just couldn't do it. And then I'd go home all, hyped up and, ready to watch some wrestling. And, Mom comes in, get in there for supper. No, I'd go home and turn it on, and they'd get to talking, and I was, I'm out. I never could get into it much.
Yeah, I like wrestling in my younger days. I used to collect the big rubber wrestling figures, the big
Yep.
joints. Yeah, I used to collect those. Yeah, I was all about that WWF. All about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I know like Bruce Willis, he used to be like when he started out, he was like I guess it was like comedy and the romantic guy in the movie, like
Yeah.
and he played that type of role. And then he got cast in Die Hard, and now he's just
Changed the
like an
game.
action star. Like
Hmm.
it's over. He'll never do anything else.
Woody Harrelson is another one. He was Woody in Cheers.
Right.
Yeah, I mean Cheeseball.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So and then he transformed into movies and became like everything.
Right.
Everything. He's played so many different roles, man. But
And
I
he's one of the
always
ones that
see Woody from Cheers every time. I
yeah.
always see that guy. Yeah.
See, I didn't know of him. Like Cheers is before my time.
Right.
It
Right.
was on. I remember it being on, but
Right.
I didn't discover Cheers until after Frasier had ended.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, I already knew who Woody Harrelson was. So when I go
Right.
back and watch those episodes, I'm like, oh my God, it's Woody
Right.
Harrelson. Look at that.
Yeah.
What can he not do?
That's the first thing that I remember him being in. For me,
Yeah.
was Cheers. Yeah.
That was where he got his big start.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you watch Frasier?
Oh, I love Frasier.
Man, Frasier is the shit.
Yeah, man.
Great. I've
But
seen every episode.
another example of changing your image up is
Yep.
his brother. I've never seen his brother do anything else. I've
Yep.
only seen him in Frasier.
Mm-hmm.
But he's got a movie where he plays a killer, and he's having this dinner party at his house, and he plays this like twisted guy who's going to murder everyone that shows up for this party.
I can see that.
It was incredible.
I can see that.
His performance was amazing, and I've
I
only seen
believe
him
that.
as this wimpy little dude on Frasier, and just to see him go like out left field and nail it, it's like, why don't we get more of this?
Huh. I could see him playing a role like that. I could. And then there's the flip side of that, like Steve Urkel.
Yep.
He was typecast for years and 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 years.
Yep.
It wasn't until like when he went on Dancing with the Stars to where he was able to reinvent himself and do that. Alfonso Ribeiro was another one that he was typecast as Carlton for a long time.
They play these characters so well that it's just hard to accept them as anything else.
Yep. Gary Coleman was another one. Arnold from Different Strokes.
Yep.
It was hard for him to get away from that role. It was tough. Yeah.
And Urkel, he even played his normal self on Urkel.
Right.
But they created the Stefan character.
Right.
Where he would get inside the machine and he'd come out and he was handsome and he was smooth talking. And like looking back at that as an adult, I would think that would have helped him get other roles. Because
you would have thought.
Right. Because all we get is Urkel, and then you see him do something else. And it's like, no, I want Urkel. But he gave you Stefan on the show. You can see him play other characters now. But instead, he's never did anything.
But Urkel was already, I guess, so big by the time they had even created Stefan. Because if you remember, before Urkel, that show was just average. It was your average show.
Right.
And he was only supposed to be like a guest appearance, a guest star, or whatever. Like he wasn't supposed to be a part of the ensemble initially.
Right.
And then they created the show around him and did that.
Yep.
Now you see him in more stuff, but back then, it was hard to get away from it. And I just recently saw him he said he would never put on the Urkel clothes again. And I recently saw him in a picture with Snoop Dogg, dressed in his Urkel gear.
Oh, gosh.
Promoting a line of weed called Purple Urkel.
Oh, that's excellent.
Right.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Purple Urkel.
And I don't understand why people would shy away from those images that made them who they are. I don't understand that. What's so wrong about being Steve Urkel or Pee Wee Herman or what's the guy they modeled Pee Wee Herman after? I forget his name, but the guy that had the thing in his hair that went up from the 70s.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I can't think of his name. But what's wrong with being those Andy Kaufman? What's wrong with being those people?
I don't know, because you like with the Urkel character, that's clearly not who he is.
Right.
And I think that everybody knows that that's not who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But as a performer, you want to play a character. Like, that's a character right there. You have to transform yourself into that Urkel role.
Yep.
Like, everybody loves it. Why would you throw it away?
And it should be a testament to their ability to move people.
Oh, yeah.
If they can convince you so much to where that's who they really are.
Yeah.
That should be, to their skill set.
Yep. And a lot of these actors, like the guys that are on the Avengers, like in the Marvel movies, like they play this big super action hero and they got the big muscles and, they're jumping through explosions and saving the damsel in distress or whatever. And then those contracts end, and then now it's time to go do something else. Well, as a fan, I'm used to seeing you in action movies. Like, that's what I've been watching for the last 10 years. Is I've watched you be this hero. You don't have to put the costume on anymore. But I would assume that other studios are coming up to you and going, hey, you were in these billion-dollar franchises. Here's another action movie for you.
Right.
Why wouldn't you want to do that? Unless you just hate making action movies. Like, why would you push that to the side? Because then they go to do these big heartfelt scripts where they can try to show off and expand and show you all these skills that, maybe we didn't see in these action movies. And I understand if you want to throw some of those in. Everybody wants a tearjerker every once in a while. But if you've been killing it for 10 years doing action movies and then somebody else comes along with a brand new action movie, why would you say no?
Right. I agree.
This is your image. This is what I see you as. This is what I expect. And as a fan who's going to pay money, you're going to be over here crying because your mom died in the movie and that's what it's about. I don't want to see that.
No. It's like Kevin Hart's last movie. He tried to show us that he had range. And I will say, Kevin Hart's last movie was pretty good. But I want to see funny Kevin.
Right.
I just do. But that's not to say that he didn't do a great job. What about your end?
Kevin Hart's very talented. Very talented.
Yeah, man. Yeah. And like you say, he puts other people on.
Right.